What a great weekend of basketball that we witnessed here during week 5 of the Basketball National League. With me right now, I have got my tripartite alliance of basketball. It's myself, Q, and Mxolisi. Guys, we had a great weekend of action. Mxolisi, let's start with you.
Oh, it's been awesome, man. It's really been awesome. I think if you take 2013 into consideration as well, up until week 5, we have seen the most highlights and action in the BNL has ever seen.
Q, what's your take on week 5?
My take is the more we play, the more games we get, the better the action on the floor. You know, it's now almost the business end of the season, and you can see it. Teams are tightening up. We saw a great defensive display by the Tshwane Suns. We see that the Royals are continuing to establish their identity as one of the favorite teams in the league. And the other contenders to the throne, the form of the Magic, you know, are also putting their hands up.
That's it. You hear it there from Q and Mxolisi. I was particularly impressed with how their goalie Magic have played, the Duzi Royals staying undefeated, and the Tshwane Suns, of course, doing it without their captain. And having a look now at the week 5 fixtures, we had the Zebras going up against the Soweto Panthers. We had the Royals taking on the Limpopo Pride. We had the Eagles going on against the Royals. This was on Saturday. And the Magic going up against the Windbreakers. And we rounded off Saturday with the Warriors going up against the Mountaineers. Now, we're going to have a quick look at Friday's action. Let's check it out.
Friday's action, first game, 1800, the Northern Cape Zebras taking on the Soweto Panthers. The Northern Cape Zebras winless at this point, and the Soweto Panthers 1-2 at that point. The Zebras coming in with Lechu hitting that mid-range jumper on the elbow, and down the floor the other way, Selepe. And the Zebras finding themselves in space and in position, and led by that man right there, Given Khobani. He was leading all scorers with the Zebras with 12 points.
The Panthers, however, found some scoring on the perimeter. Selepe, criticized in his performance against the Royals, came out and played with a lot of fire. And the Panthers also struggling with coaching situation changes in their camp, but on this day nothing was evident as the Panthers continued to pour in buckets. They got scoring from Mike Mukumbuta. They got Mighty Mike elevates, throws it down, and Van der Pijl slashing to the rim, puts it down with authority.
And the action just going back the other way with Van der Pijl able to finish on the break, doing what he does best, running off the ball and down the floor the other way. Lechu finishing over a chasing Wayne Mhlongo, and Kabasela as well came into the game and contributed with them as well. And Lechu effecting a steal down the floor.
And a great win there by the Panthers with the bounce back win, and good to see Selepe starting to play a lot better basketball.
They record to 2-2 at that point.
Great game there by the Soweto Panthers. Great to see Selepe coming through and having a bounce back game after a terrible game where he had 11 turnovers.
And welcome back once again to Wembley Arena, the scene of our second matchup, the Duzi Royals taking on the Limpopo Pride. The battle starts, and this one battle will be about maintaining and playing for Pride, and the other one, it will be a battle of royalty. Maranele around, Stanka, to the basket. And Maranele breaking up that pass to Mtalani from Ngobeni. Maranele back down the other way. He'll pull up for 3. Boom! And a steal by Manubele. Finds Maranele, 3-on-2 break to Manubele. Manubele with the one-handed hammer. Ngobeni will pull up for 3. And it rattles in. Kumalo picking up on the loose ball. Bounce pass. Two-handed flush. Checked into the game. Jackson from Stern. Fumani Maranele also checks into the game. Sambo on the baseline. play around a defender.
And a beautiful feed to Jackson Jr., who now has double figures as well. 3 players with double figures. Stern elevates, throws it down.
The last touch by the Pride, and possession back to the Royals. Tuping from outside for 3.
The Doozy Royals, big winners against the Limpopo Pride.
The full-time score, Doozy Royals 94, Limpopo Pride 57.
And having a look now at the Week 5's game on Friday evening, the Zebras unfortunately not having enough firepower to take over the Panthers, and the Doozy Royals staying undefeated over the Limpopo Pride. Now let's have a quick look at the results and fixtures from Friday first, and then the fixtures for Saturday. The results, the Panthers just trampling over the Northern Cape Zebras, and then we had the Doozy Royals staying undefeated over the Limpopo Pride. Saturday's game saw the Royals going up against the Eagles, and then the Magic team up against the Windbreakers, and one of the teams that I thought is starting to play a lot better, which is the Mountaineers. We're going to have a quick look right now at Saturday's highlights. Let's check them out.
Saturday's first game at 1 o'clock, the Northwest Eagles going up against the Doozy Royals. For me, the Northwest Eagles, a well-rested Northwest Eagles, but it would appear that the break in play and them taking to the court and seeing court action really had an adverse effect on the match form. And it was all Royals from the beginning of the game. Larry Jackson Jr. having his way inside the key and just outperforming and outmuscling any and everything that the Eagles were throwing at him. Tabang Glass is looking to make moves inside, working on Jackson himself, and he puts up that shot right off the glass, and he should be calling Glass for putting the shot off the glass. And Mudisai Esi with a pull-up jumper off the glass himself. And at this point, it was touch and go for both teams. Corey Stern fouled in transition, and he would go to the line and shoot one free throw. And Glass has his shot. Junior finds Yao Sitole from way out, and he drills that 3. Yao Sitole, a boon for this Royals team, and Jackson Jr. was just having a field day in the low block inside the key, driving in right there and finishing with the 2. Takani Ngobeni, the deep 3 for himself as well, and all cylinders clicking for the Doozy Royals. Yao Sitole with a deep 2 on that play as well, and another Yao highlight, beating 2 defenders for the easy lay-in.
Game, and that had an impact on the result. At the full-time score, the Eagles 44 and the Doozy Royals 75.
Here we have it, guys. That was a great game. However, we had 2 more games that took place. Let's check out the next highlights.
Second game on Saturday, the Eastern Cape Windbreakers going up against the Egoli Magic, and this one right here, we know from the very first moment that it would be all Egoli Magic throughout this game. And the Eastern Cape Windbreakers going up against the Egoli Magic, they would come to the game prepared, but they would have to fight really hard if they were expecting to have any kind of impact against the Egoli Magic. Sfiso Ngobo right there starting proceedings, as he always does, and it would appear that in every BNL game, a game has to start with a 3 first. If the 3 hasn't been drained, then the game hasn't really started. And Madikwa responding with his own 3, a deep one. And the Magic now, their machine was being well oiled, and Kalombo was just playing his game in the lower block, finishing with easy layups and also hitting those jumpers at the top of the key and on the baseline.
One thing the Egoli Magic did really well was feed Colombo. The Windbreakers are dangerous from the perimeter, and knocking it down, Nondwana does a good job. Naka on the inside, getting the finish. It was not all one-sided. The enterprising play of the point guard from the Windbreakers, Manana, one of the highlights. Nelson Victor found some touch. He connected on 5 3 balls on the evening. and went on a stretch where he hit 4 consecutive threes and got the crowd involved.
And Colombo rattles the rim with a one-handed stuff and a great feed. And Economides finding Ngobo in open space, and you already know that shot is cash money, like he's signed to Young Money. Sfiso Ngobo will always drill the 3. And from way outside, Senzo Langa, the big man, showing a nifty touch, and Cedric Colombo, the alley-oop from Halik Musa. This game really was all magic from start to finish, and it had a whole lot of highlights. Colombo holding the ball, thinking about the play, and there's drilling that 3 in the corner. Really, Cedric Colombo showing us his touch from inside and outside.
And they were deserved winners on the day, and the Windbreakers just came up against a team that was better equipped, bigger, and executed a lot better on the day. Full-time score, the Igoli Magic 110 and the Windbreakers 51.
The Igoli Magic coming out and showing that they're a team to be reckoned with. I'm particularly excited that they're now playing with a lot of cohesion, a lot of different players now looking for each other. I think this team is going to be one of the danger teams in this BNL. However, we're going to look at the next game's action, which was between the Warriors and the Mountaineers.
Last game on Saturday afternoon, the Free State Warriors going up against the Western Cape Mountaineers, and in the first quarter they were evenly matched, both teams going back and forth, and Stephen Gabriel diving on the floor, and they find an open Ongenda in the corner, and you already know what happens when Ongenda is in space in no man's land. He's going to drill that 3.
The Warriors front court not effective on the day, but the backcourt of Sitole and Makaba always a threat. Kasonga hustles to the rim, a right-handed floater layup off the glass, and beautiful finish from Kasonga. Stephen Gabriel,
and it was all day in the low post for the Mountaineers big man. Shavon Sheldon just catching that ball in the low post and able to finish over all the defenders that were there. Majola to the basket trying to find his teammate, and Ongenda takes it all the way down the floor for a quick layup and a finish. And Ongenda in space, and you know Ongenda is going to drill that open 3 when he is in space, and that all happens throughout the game. And Cavani was able to find Sheldon, and Sheldon did a lot of running in this game on the break and just finding space underneath the basket and being able to finish under the basket as well, and pressure for the Warriors. And Bano able to save that ball, and he finds Lyle Robertson underneath the basket. And Cavani finding Robertson with a buzzer-beating 3 to end proceedings on Saturday evening. A great showing, great outing. Final score on Saturday: Warriors 61, Mountaineers 94.
Great round of action there from Saturday. Having a look now at confirmation of the results, we got the Doozy Royals staying undefeated over the Eagles, and then a very surprising Igoli Magic team playing a lot better over the Windbreakers, and then the Mountaineers taking through to the Warriors. Now, for me, guys, and I'm going to swing this through to Q and Kolisi, the teams that stood out was the Igoli Magic and the Mountaineers. What's your take on that?
Magic are slowly, surely finding their footing, and they're coming back. And just like I said, you and Q think I'm really hard on the Magic, but I'm hard on them because, you know, I just feel that they have barely scraped the surface of their potential. They could easily come out every game and really, really dominate. We will see how they fare towards the end of the season and when they match up against bigger, tougher, stronger teams. But like I've said before, Cedric Colombo, his game has really, really grown on me. The one thing you've got to really appreciate about the Magic, they are patient, and whenever they are patient, they always look to get the best basket. And the Igoli Magic, watch out for them.
Q, let's talk a bit about Sfiso Ngobo. He came out, really played well for the Magic as well. He was due for a breakout game.
Sfiso Ngobo had a good game. I think we need to talk about the play of Nelson Victor. He had a breakout game. You know, he's comfortable shooting that three from the perimeter, but he really hit it with great consistency. He hit 4 in a row, got the crowd in the game, and with that sort of play, it takes a lot of pressure off Sfiso Ngobo. Sfiso Ngobo has been known for many years to be able to knock it down from the perimeter, but now it's augmented by the play of Victor. Molebatsi has been consistent, and this team, I think, is already playoff ready, and they're just going to keep building. And I think they are one of the dark horses for the title.
Dark horse, definitely potential to take it all the way. That was Saturday's action. However, we had a whole bunch of games on Sunday as well, and we're going to check out those highlights as well. Having a look at Sunday's games, we had the Mountaineers going up against the Pride, and the Doozy Royals playing against the Panthers, and the Rhinos up against the Tshwane Suns.
First matchup on Sunday midday, the Western Cape Mountaineers going up against the Limpopo Pride, and this one you would have thought that would have been evenly matched throughout, but it was Mountaineers from the opening whistle. Mdekazi finding Maporisa, and very unlikely of stand-up Maporisa to hit that three, and Maranele doing what he does best, running on and off the ball and finishing with an easy 2 inside. Manyubele, an easy 2 over Brendan Metler.
And this play of the Mountaineers dominated by that man, Siobhan Sheldon. He'd have an outstanding day at the office for the Mountaineers. 27 points and high efficiency for him in the paint, and the Mountaineers looked for him every time down the floor. A beautiful feed from Gabriel to Sheldon, and that summed up the Mountaineers' performance. It was all Gabriel, all Sheldon, augmented by the perimeter play of their guards.
And the Mountaineers, Dekazi driving all the way down the floor, getting a whole lot of confidence with the increased minutes that they are seeing. Manyubele down the floor the other way, the baseline. Gabriel hanging in the air off the backboard, and really for this is the kind of attitude they need to take into every game. Maranele pounding his chest, picking up on that three, and Sheldon was just doing his thing in the lower block and just finishing all day. Siobhan Sheldon finishing the game with 27 points. Cavani driving all the way down the floor and finishing with an easy 2. And Maranele with a two-handed stuff. At the crowd on their feet. Fumani Maranele, this man does everything for the Limpopo Pride. Breaking the dunk.
The Pride really struggled against an efficient offense of the Mountaineers, and at full time, the Mountaineers 89 and the Limpopo Pride 79.
For me though, however, the greatest game that we had of the weekend was between the Panthers and the Royals. That one went down to the wire, and we did say from the beginning that this was going to be the highlight of the weekend. It turned out to be the same.
Well, most definitely the highlight of the weekend. Doozy Royals going up against the Soweto Panthers. Of course, both of these teams hybrids, if you will, of former players and former teammates. And Tsakani Ngobeni just starting proceedings with a 3, just like Andre Ongenda started the game with a 3 of his own. And back down the other way, Mukumbuta with a one-handed flush. And this was neck and neck throughout the first 2 quarters. Stanga Kumalo coming in with the left hand and finishing.
And Mtlongo getting it in transition was just as the Doozy Royals tried to pull away, and every time they got a little bit of the lead, the defense of the Panthers gave them opportunities in transition, and a beautiful finish by Thabo Sithole, hassling the boards. Jackson Jr. and Sakile Sithole in shot. Wayne Mtlongo provided some much needed offense and gave extra scoring to the Panthers, but the Doozy Royals really just did their best on the day after 3 tough games of the weekend, and it's no signs of fatigue on the floor as they continued to pound it in the paint and hit it from the perimeter.
Panthers down the floor the other way, and Slepe finishing. This was one great sequence where Slepe finished on the break, and Sithole pulls up for the jumper on the elbow, and you know Sakhile Sithole will give you the points that you need all the time. Genga underneath battling, and the reverse layup on the other side, and leaving Royals a smidgen confused. Mukumbuta driving inside, and Genga cleaning up on the Mukumbuta miss. And back down the floor the other way, Sibankulu, he had his contribution to the game, to the team, and applause all round. Sakhile Sithole from way out with the three. And Stenga Khumalo, the wraparound pass to Ngobeni, and Ngobeni just using his body to shield his defender and getting an easy two on the inside. Duzi Royals doing their thing on the low block, and nothing but applause from their team. And if you see the final score, the Duzi Royals 75, Soweto Panthers 67.
That was a great game for the spectators. Wonderful performance there by the Duzi Royals, just taking over the charge from the Panthers. However, we had one last game, which was going to be between the Rhinos and the undefeated Suns. Let's check out the highlights.
Final game on Sunday, Tshwane Suns going up against the Mpumalanga Rhinos, a finals rematch from 2013, and it was all Suns throughout the game, but a very low scoring game first of all, and very low scoring throughout all four quarters.
A defensive battle, the best way to describe the contest between last year's finalists, the Suns and the Rhinos. The assist man dispossessing Ntlanya at half court. And in transition, the player of the game on the day, Dumisani Moyo. And he was effective inside and from the perimeter. The Deadeye 9 knocks it down with unerring efficiency. Able to catch it in rhythm, elevate and shoot. And Mulamba, off a beautiful feed, should have flushed that.
And it was just all Suns throughout this game, but Nati Festile unable to control that ball, and Mlungisi Shongwe with the steal and the ferocious two-handed stuff. And that right there elicited glee and joy from the Suns faithful. Mlungisi Shongwe short jump hook inside the key, drops that two, and continued support from Suns Nation throughout. Dumi Moyo game MVP, hitting that deep three. And it was really all Suns. Everything that could go wrong for the Mpumalanga Rhinos did go wrong. Somusam Tembu faking his man and just being patient and finishing with the layup.
A really impressive defensive display, but the assist man finds the cutting. Denga's left hand very effective in transition or in the low block. And Dlamini, one of his very few baskets on the day. It was a very tough day at the office for the man they call Shaq. And the player of the game, Dumisani Moyo.
Things did not go well, but at the end, the final score, very low scoring, Rhinos 39, Tshwane Suns 51.
And having a look now at the confirmation of results from week 5, we had the Mountaineers really playing strong over the Limpopo Pride, getting the win there, and the Duzi Royals staying undefeated over the Panthers. And then we had the Rhinos that went down to a very inspiring Tshwane Suns team. Having a look now at the fixtures for week 6, we're going to have the Rhinos trying to redeem themselves over a Panthers team that's also in need of a win. And we also have the Marlins playing against the Eagles. Looking at Sunday's games, we have the Zebras going up against the Pride, and then we have the Goli Magic that is going to be going up against the Warriors. Well, that's it, guys. That's us from the Basketball National League for Week 5. Great action, and I'm sure we can anticipate the same for Week 6. Now, last week, we had my main man here, Mkolisi, busting a rhyme, a little freestyle, which I closed off, by the way. But right now, I'm handing over to you, man. Send this out.
Well, I'll give you just a little bit, man. I go way back like myths about where babies come from. Forget the outcome. X marks the spot, even if you're not Malcolm. I'm a lyrical diplomat because I'm always showered with mics. I'm known as socialist, my younger brother's socialite.
I felt like I needed to beatbox there.